Hi everyone, this is Laura Campagna, the Wednesday Witch, and I'm so happy to be back with all my witches, wizards, and magicians for the tarot forecast for Gemini season. I took a little hiatus from these tarot video forecasts during the start of the pandemic, but so happy to be back with all of you and really excited to talk about this incredibly powerful and magical time that we're in. So I just posted on Instagram a little write-up about the Gemini new moon, and I used this image of the Ace of Swords. Not surprisingly, this is the card that came up, the first card that came up in the tarot spread of what do we need to know about this moment. So this is where we are. The sun entered Gemini, the sign of brilliant ideas, communication, connection, on May 20th. And all of a sudden, it feels like there's so much going on. There's so much change that wants to come through. Our minds start to work overtime. Our nervous systems start to perk up. And that we're really throwing off that final sluggishness from winter. And people are starting to feel like they need to move. The Gemini new moon tonight on Friday, May 22nd, is a really powerful inception point because the Venus retrograde is happening in Gemini, and Venus is conjoined the ruler of Gemini, Mercury, so at 20 Gemini. So what this means is that Venus retrograde is feeding Mercury this information, which is feeding it to the sun, our intellect and our soul, and the moon, our body, and how we live out on the daily. And they're in a trine with Saturn in Aquarius. So all of this is happening on multiple levels. And when we think about the Venus retrograde, we think about the fact that she is exploring the shadow of love and relationships in whatever way, energy, the sign expresses. And what's really interesting is that Gemini is a sign that doesn't go deep in the traditional way that we think about with the Venus retrograde, where there's like an underworld descent and you're going like down into the heart and the truth. And we really felt that with the Venus retrograde in Scorpio. Like that was deep and dark fall of 2018. But this year, Venus is going retrograde in the sign of the twins, the sign of the mental energy and body and element. So the air sign. So how does Gemini go deep? Well, Gemini is the sign that makes connections and sees the bigger patterns. Gemini is the brilliant mathematician, the magician that creates from just thoughts, the musician that harmonizes with the music of the spheres and the universe. So Gemini is seeking to uncover these sacred geometric patterns in our lives and of our heart. And so the moment we're in right now at the Gemini new moon is represented by the Two of Wands. So what is it that you need to have dominion over in your life? What ways can you show up for yourself, show up for your loving, and really take responsibility for that shadow side that usually we're able to kind of like push aside and ignore? Our challenge is the Hierophant, and isn't it always? But I actually really like the Hierophant because in the Thoth deck, you can kind of see the sacred Isis that lives inside the goddess wisdom that is always hidden within the patriarchal dogma and religious systems. But the Hierophant is really speaking to teaching and learning. And Gemini is like the lifelong student who's like eternally curious and always wanting like more. What about this? What else? What else about that? So, you know, our challenge is to figure out what kind of support we need in order to uncover and unlock these sacred patterns in our life. What do you need to help you take the little bits of information that you're getting now from the Venus retrograde and use it to see that greater pattern, that beautiful mosaic, in order to come into a sense of right alignment with the universe. And the Hierophant can absolutely help you with that. Our final outcome is the beautiful Star card. You know, Saturn is in Aquarius, and we have that energy happening right now until July 1st, and then he's going to retrograde back into Capricorn, and then he'll return in December and stay for until March 2023. So Aquarius is really going to be leading the way. The Star card for me is always about following your intuition, following the higher mind, becoming a channel, opening that seventh chakra, downloading the wisdom of the universe, and playing your part in a small way that, again, helps create a more beautiful prism, and, you know, seeing your part in the web of creation and how that supports the larger whole in these ways that are infinite, because Saturn in Aquarius is absolutely the outer limits. Our little warning card is the Devil. As a pagan and a Capricorn, I'm totally here for the Devil. You know, I feel like there's a lot of people that want to cut loose. They've been feeling really isolated and getting depressed in the quarantine. And I do think that a lot of that, people aren't going to be able to maintain and sustain that during Gemini season. The need to connect is just going to be too much. But I think the Devil can be a reminder that, like, yes, you need to cut loose, or else you could have, you know, challenges, but you want to do so safely, responsibly, and carefully. So that's your tarot forecast for Gemini season. There is a lot that is going to come through. Venus will be Cazimi on June 3rd, so we'll definitely get a lot more information about what, you know, this sacred mission, the new inception point for Venus at the start of June. And I wish you all such a beautiful Gemini new moon, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Take care.